Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain for the third time. If you were paying close attention, you know what I'm talking about. Hey internets, this is Jake from Mini Terrain Domain. This is Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries. Book 4, A Deep and Creeping Darkness. And this is Chapter 38, Blood and Water. And we'll see what that's all about in just a few moments when we get into the recap and get the game going. First, a couple of quick announcements. Number 1, if you look up above Jordan's head, you will see that there's a plus 30 and some domain tomes there and some limited edition domain tomes. Those are all ways that you, the viewers, can have an influence on our game simply by subbing, resubbing, tipping, cheering, all that stuff will earn the players domain tomes that they can use to gain advantage. They can reroll, or they can make me reroll. However, I have 5 limited edition tomes up there at the top that I can use to gain advantage. To do another thing that I keep forgetting what the third one is. I can't remember if it's a reroll for myself or not. I don't think it is. But then for 5, I can counterspell, cancel out one of their rerolls, DM rerolls, and let it ride. So, that's Domain Tomes. Be sure to check out our channel sponsor, Talon and Claw. You can check out their Etsy shop and check out all the awesome dice accessories and whatnot that they've got over there. Dice towers, dice trays, dice vaults, DM screens, all that good stuff. Use code MTDCLAW. Check out and get 10% off of your order. Another thing that I'm really excited about is a couple weeks ago, I launched the Calendar of Harptos Adventure Journal on DM's Guild. It is a form-fillable 400-page calendar/journal with lunar cycles. All of the Forgotten Realms months and special festival days are in there, and each page has a section that's basically like a journal where you can log your players, or if you're a player or a DM, however you want to track it. You can track your party's adventures in there, and there's a section for notable people, places, and things. There's a year at the glance, and there's even several character quick reference sheets in the back, so you can fill out some basic stats and stuff to reference your party or your characters in that. The link is in the chat. You can head on over to DM's Guild, pick that up for just $4.99. Or you can stick around because I'm going to give away another one of those at break time today. When we go on our break, we will be raffling off one of those to one lucky viewer. So be sure to stick around for that. I do believe that is it for the main announcements. Of course, as always, we want to take a moment before we escape into the world of Dungeons and Dragons to remind you that you matter. Your presence here on this earth makes a difference. Whether or not you believe it, we know that to be true, and we want you to know that to be true. We recognize that it can be difficult. There's lots of things that can get in your way and cause you to be struggling. First of all, that's okay. It's perfectly okay to be struggling. But you don't have to struggle alone. There is help that is available for you. So what we've done is we've made it so that at any time you can go into our chat and you can type help. That will bring up the URL for findahelpline.com. I encourage you to check out that link, bookmark it for yourself, save it for a friend. It's a very simple to use tool. Simply put where you are located in the world. That's it. Hit enter and you'll get all kinds of cool resources and things that for various levels of help depending on what kind of services you might be looking for. So it's that simple. With that, I think it's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. So Most recently, en route to meeting up with Manistrad Copperlocks in Baldur's Gate at the shipyards, you all decided to go make a quick stop over to the Wide Market, visit a couple of old friends. Tira wanted to check in on the Amber Dunes for reasons. While doing so, one, found out the Amber Dunes were no longer occupying their stall. Two, encountered one of the Amber Dunes who looked like they were kind of in a hurry. And three, the rest of the party had their wagon stolen by a ambitious were-rat who was trying to lead them all into a trap. Unfortunately for Moesha and her were-rats, the Amber Dunes showed up and helped everybody to subdue them. They took them back to the warehouse where a couple of important things happened, one of which was that they met, the party met Nidalia Amberdune, the Lamia leader of their pack, who has been resurrected in part because the party liberated the warehouse, gave it over to the Amber Dunes, and they were able to turn a quick profit. They are actually heading to Amn to take back their palace, taking most of the Amber Dunes with them, including the body of Corvala, the previous leader of the Amber Dunes, who was murdered by Cain Maugrim. Doc did a thorough investigation, learning a little bit about the nature of the wound, and has some very pertinent questions, and is wanting to do an investigation. They've been invited to stay with a couple of the Amber Dunes that are staying behind, and they can rest up there, and Doc is going to conduct an investigation. Meanwhile, Vorn and Tira have had a couple of conversations. At one point, Vorn was left briefly alone outside, where he was confronted by a mysterious Shatterkai elven person who had silver metal wire sewing their lips shut and communicated telepathically, saying that he was a member of an organization called the Silver Talons, and that they were also looking for Cain Maugrim, that he was not to be trusted, and to keep an eye on Tira as well. But also, later, presumably, because suddenly it was night during this narration, so while Doc and the others are back at the house, Vorn and Tira have another conversation outside under the stars. During one of those scenes, Tira stepped up to show her affection towards Vorn, and then later, Tira seemed distraught when she placed something into Vorn's hand, and then left. And as Vorn stared up at the constellation that Usurla had previously shown him years before, we saw that the vial in his hand contains the blood of Usurla, though her fate is not known. And that is where we are going to pick up as soon as, thank you, Smokebeard, for that generous tip of 5 domain tomes. I'm going to make sure I award that to you right now. We are going to join the others, Assyria, Mizya, and Doc, back at the Amberdune homestead, where you have all been brought back, told that you can rest, and Doc, you have an investigation that you want to take a look at. So, what are you all doing? Vorn and Tira, for the time being, you are elsewhere having conversations.
We're on a very long walk when it's still daytime.
I think Asteria, having watched the cart kind of move away, has just kind of taken a spot in the corner, is settling down. Still a bit on edge, but is kind of just absentmindedly kind of petting Soren and allowing everything to kind of sink in.
Also, point of note, I forgot to mention in the recap, was that you had all agreed with a very stern admonition that they not return. You let Moesha and the were-rats go.
Mm-hmm.
Just a reminder of that. So Assyria, you're just kind of letting the weight of everything that's happened sink in as you're kind of...
Yeah, she's processing. She's thinking back, honestly, to when she had her first encounter with Cain, trying to see if maybe there's any similarities to the mark or anything like that, in terms of the bite mark, not the actual mark. Things like that, but she's kind of thinking and then just keeping on edge.
What about you, Mizya?
Yeah, so everybody's just kind of wandered off then at this point?
I mean, Asteria's in the area.
Like,
but
we're here, the three of us are still
Yes.
here, but like everybody else just kind of, because...
Yes.
Who's everybody else? The Amber Dunes?
The Amber Dunes and
Nadalia and the Amber Dunes took off in their wagons. They're heading south.
So they're all gone. So we're just in this weird warehouse by ourselves.
No,
now.
you're at the Amber Dune house that you were previously at. Zahn, the older member of the Amber Dunes, and Avani, who is a middle-aged man that Doc had talked to that had witnessed Cain leaving after accosting Corvala. Those two are there at the house with you because they're staying to man things in Baldur's Gate.
Okay. Well, Doctor, seems we've had quite the eventful afternoon, yes?
Is that a question? Or did you answer it yourself?
I'm just making small talk. I'm not quite sure what to do with myself. Everyone seems to have wandered off, and, well, two of us seem to have wandered off.
Do words have different sizes? Is that a thing that can happen? They all seem the same size to me.
Oh, well, their meanings can have very different sizes, depending on how you use them. But I find it somewhat odd that we seem to have spent many, many days not doing the job we were hired to do. Yet here we are, still waiting to go do the job that we're currently not doing.
Yes, it's almost like we're being distracted by things on all sides of us. It's like our ordinary quest is not of interest to us of late. Seems strange.
Quite odd, yes. Well, I think I'll go sit down over here and wait for the other two to get back.
I think
perhaps we can be on our way.
I think I'm going to go to the other side and look at that room.
That sounds fantastic.
So are you going to the other side to look at the room, Doc?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah, Avani would show you to the back. I believe previously Assyria was the only one who had met with Corvala in her office. So you're sort of seeing this for the first time, but it's in that sort of back corner of the house. There's a door into this roughly 10 foot by 15 foot room, which is a decent sized room for an office. There's a good sized desk in there. There's a couple of swords up on the wall, like decorative swords. There's some shelves on the walls that behind the desk with a smattering of books and other things. Nothing that seems to be of much value. You do notice when you open the door to go in that the door sort of catches for a moment on this rug that is kind of off center in the room. It's a good sized rug, but it's kind of more towards the door. And as Avani opens the door, it kind of catches, and he has to hold on one moment, and kind of slides in a little bit and does that thing where you have to like push the corner down and hold it down so you can get the door over it, and slides the door open. Sorry about that. This is where Kane and Kovada had their meeting.
Very well. Thank you. Are you going to stay here and help, or are you just here to hold the door open?
I have other things to do. If you don't need me, I can.
No, I certainly
leave you.
don't need you. Need is a word that means something completely different than what I would need of you.
Kind of gives you a puzzled look and glances around the room for a moment. Very, very well. I will leave you to it, and leaves the room. And you are now alone in Corvalla's office.
So, he's going to examine the rug. And is there anything under the rug?
So you're peeling back the corner of the rug?
Gonna peel back the whole rug.
Okay, you have to close the door to do so, because when the door opened, it was kind of covering over part of it. So you close the door.
Yep.
You peel the rug back and make an investigation check.
All right. So this is just checking out the rug, or is this doing like a general investigation check for the whole area?
It's this. Think of it like a point and click game.
Sure.
That you're concentrating right now on the rug and the floor area.
Yep.
So
Okay.
this will be for this area.
You can do it. Does Dr. Einstein Jr. give me advantage because he's looking as well?
Say that again.
Does Dr. Einstein Jr. give me advantage because he is also looking?
I mean, he's a duck.
Fine, it should be a no. Don't have to malign his.
I did not malign anyone. I literally stated a fact.
This is a duck-shaped friend.
Speciesist.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up and see what if a duck gets any advantage. Oh, what do you know? There's not a duck in here. What kind of bird is there?
Ducks don't exist.
There's birds.
Hawks.
Well, it's certainly not going to have a hawk's vision.
Oh, well.
Your duck will give you the ability to use domain tomes if you wish for advantage.
Great. That's wonderful. Well, I got on my rug investigation, I got 28 by the power of believing in myself.
Okay.
Yes. Confidence.
So what are you looking for?
I want to know if there's anything under the rug, if there are any secret doors, any potential clues that got tucked under there that might have been missed.
Okay. So as you're kind of looking around, you notice two things. That the first is rather obvious, and the second you notice as you're taking a closer look. First being that in the further into the room, the rug was covering a trap door. The other thing that you notice is on the right side of the room. So to have a little bit of perspective here, this room is a rectangle. You came in the lower right corner. That's the door. The trap door is over on the left side, and the room is sort of long. So when I refer to right, left, it's kind of as you're looking from the door. Towards the right side, a little closer to the door area, you spot the fact that this floor under the rug looks... You see a mismatch in the discoloration. Anybody that's had a rug in their home, especially over a certain area of floor for any period of time, you know that the floor wears differently in the areas that are uncovered. This rug looks like it was in a slightly different position, and you realize it looks like it was dragged closer towards the door because there is a dark area on the wood that looks like somebody cleaned up blood.
Okay. So somebody spent some time cleaning after things went down.
That's what it looks like.
Okay. I will look in the trap door. But you know what? I'm gonna tell myself that I can do it, and then I'm just gonna see if there are any traps.
Is that you giving yourself guidance?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You can do it.
You got it. You got this, Doc.
26.
This trap door appears to be free of traps.
Is it locked?
It is not locked.
All right. I will open it.
All right. You see a narrow descending passage ending in a circular chamber. You can just, the light of the room, you can see that this just leads down underground a little ways.
Okay.
There's a sort of round chamber, not very far down. You can see it. There's no other spaces. And there are 2 trunks in here with locks on them.
Okay. 2 trunks with locks, and that's it.
Yep.
Okay. I will look at each of the, can I do one check to see if either of them are trapped, or do you want 2 checks?
You have to check each one separately.
Okay. So the first one is a 31.
Okay. Yeah, you do not see any signs of any kind of trapping mechanisms on this chest.
And then I'll look at the other one. Dice are on fire tonight. 28.
Say it out loud.
As you are checking around this one as well in the similar way, just kind of, you're lightly reaching around these chests and looking for signs of the usual types of traps. You don't see anything on either of these traps. With a visual
On either of the
inspection.
traps, I see nothing.
Did I say traps? Chests.
You did. Yep, great.
You are successful in determining that there are no traps visually on these chests.
Okay. Then I will see if I can pick the lock of one of them. Wait. I'm gonna stand back. And 1 second. I'm going to stand back and I'm going to throw a copper piece at the left chest.
Okay.
Does anything happen?
Ting, ting, ting.
I'm going to throw a copper piece at the right chest.
It sticks to the chest.
Okay. Great. Good to know. The chair that Mizya sat on in the first adventure that we took.
Oh, yes, in the dining hall.
Yes. Do I remember it was only when Mizya interacted with that creature that it sprung up? Is that correct? It didn't show itself until...
Yes, that is how that one reacted.
Okay. So Doc is going to get on the other side of the non-sticky chest and is going to tap himself and try and pick the lock.
You have thieves' tools?
I do, and proficiency with them.
Okay.
You can do it, Doc. And then the duck goes. Okay, so that is a 15, 25. Wait, no, sorry. It's a different skill. 20. 20 to open the chest.
Yeah, that is enough to open that chest. When you said you moved to the side of it, How do you mean? You're on the left chest. You're picking the lock.
Yeah.
There's a chest over here to the right. Where are you?
So if the chests are side by side, and this is the one that was splorchy, I'm sort of over here coming at the chest from this way.
Basically as far away from the sticky one as you
Far
can.
away from Splorch's chest.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you start picking the lock and you hear the lock go, you can see the other chest begin to change shape. Like it just looks almost like it's become sort of glistening. That copper coin sort of goes and gets pulled in, and you can see that, like when lips and saliva stick as the chest is starting to open up. It's reacting to you opening the other chest.
Okay, great. So I will finish my action by opening the chest. What do I see inside?
You're going to open the chest while
Yes.
this other chest is...
That's
okay.
correct. I mean, we can roll initiative after this action's done. I'm cool with that. I want to see what's inside it.
Okay. Well, with that warning, you're going to get an action and it's going to get an action.
Sure.
Inside the chest is absolutely nothing.
Okay.
It looks like there were things in there. And there's even I'll say you can see there's a bit of a dark stain in there. Like something was stored there for a long period of time.
Okay.
As to what, there is no telling. But this other chest is absolutely going to strike out at you.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Okay.
But it's going to, as it's sort of opening up, there's a sort of, we all know mimics are slimy and sticky, but this has the appearance as it's opening up almost like chapped lips. Like there's a dryness and crackliness to it, and this lolling pseudopod tongue shoots out and slams into the chest next to you. Let's roll initiative between you and the mimic, and you will get an opportunity attack on it if you wish, because it rolled a crit fail.
I got a 16 for initiative. No, I won't take an opportunity.
It got a 3, so you will go first.
Okay. Doc is going to take out a silver piece, and he's going to bounce it against the floor at the mimic, and he's going to salute and say thank you, and then he's going to try and make his go around the outside of the room and walk back up to the main level.
Okay, you have 30 feet of movement.
Yep.
Okay, do you close the door behind you?
Do I close the trapdoor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that encounter's over. Yeah. You kept your distance far enough away from it. And it's your turn, so you can get all the way up the stairs and close the door on it, and it can't do anything.
I mean, Doc has 19 intelligence. I'm trying to play him that way. Okay. So he's disappointed that his suspicion that there was a secret door didn't lead to other places. He unfortunately did not get a chance to check the room to see if there were any secret doors leading out to that. He just left the mimic in peace. But I guess I'll do now a general investigation check of the whole room to see if there's anything I notice. Is there any other area that I can look at, or should I just do a general investigation check to save some time?
There's the desk and the walls and the shelves. There's not a whole lot in the room at this time.
Okay.
Go ahead and just do a general inspection.
I will use a tome.
All right. That's gonna... Let me adjust this.
As Doc is looking through the room, he has another flashback and it's similar to the one he saw before, where his hands were dripping with blood. And this time, the difference is that he sees what's in front of him. And even though there's no one there to see it, he takes a step backward as if from shock. So that is a 30 investigation.
Okay. So, as you are looking around this room, you notice on the around the base of the desk, on the side closest to where you discovered the blood, there's a couple of blood splatters on the lower part of the desk that were missed. This is very clearly blood that somebody did not clean up. You can tell that in preparing to leave, the Amberdunes packed up a lot of things, but with Corvala dead, they maybe didn't know, which stuff she wanted, or they just grabbed a couple things, because you find what looks like Corvala may have started a new journal, like when you reach the end of a journal and you start in on a new one, because there's only a handful of entries in here, and some of it is information that confirms what you already knew, talking about how Corvala was using the knowledge she was given by Nadalia to create these King Watsums, and how they used those to create the books so that they could sell them and resell them and resell them to try to make money. But the other thing that 30 is going to give you is, exactly how many of these King Watsums were created, and they line up with, as you're looking through, you see, okay, it was this book and this book and this book, and as you see on the page, there were 2 more King Watsums that were created. Corvala created them in the form of decorative swords to guard her office. And that's sort of as you look up from the desk and you see there's the 2 decorative swords that are on the wall behind you, or excuse me, in front of you on the desk.
Okay.
And that's when does a 16 hit you?
Does a 16 hit me? It does not.
It doesn't.
No.
How do you react as you're reading this and you're seeing these swords on the wall that are now, you're reading are these King Watsum things? Suddenly one of the chairs in the room falls over because the rug is lifting up and attempting to wrap itself around you.
Sure. Doc is going to sigh deeply, as if not angry but disappointed, and then he's going to go step on top of the trapdoor while dragging the desk.
You're moving over to the trapdoor to step on it.
Yeah, because I'm assuming that the mimic has come up the stairs and is now trying to lick me from underside of the door.
Right.
I would like to try and use my 340-pound ass to prevent it from pushing its tongue up, while at the same time pulling the desk over so that I can eventually replace my ass with the desk.
Right. I'm not going to make you make a strength check, because this isn't this isn't the resolute desk. This is just a desk.
Okay.
So you grab hold of this desk and kind of slide it over on top. And as you do so, you hear the swords on the wall begin rattling. And you notice on the other side of the room is where the chair fell, and that side is where the rug is curling up. The rug itself seems to be animated.
Oh, cool.
Mizya and Assyria, you hear sort of a muffled clatter sound of something falling over in the back room, and then you hear this sound of somebody dragging a heavy piece of furniture.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say roll for initiative.
Sure.
Should I stay on my initiative or roll again?
I'm gonna have you roll again on. Well, you can choose to stick with the number you had, or you
That's
can
fine, just so it's easier.
roll again on this one.
26.
Let's see. Assyria, you have a 26. Mizya,
18.
18. Tira and Vorn, you're not here, but go ahead and roll initiative anyway if you didn't already.
Okay. 12.
Doc
16.
and Vorn.
Strongest 9 of the night.
Darn
Power
right.
9.
All right, and then let's see. This die does not want to roll well for me. This one does. And okay. Assyria, what do you do as you hear these sounds coming from the back room?
Hearing this, Assyria will quickly get to her feet and go, oh shit, and take off towards the office. Quickly, you'll see for a second she, like, out of instinct reaches for her sword, but then we'll switch to the new, less shiny one that she just got instead. And make her way back to the office using full 30 feet of movement if she can get in there.
30 feet of movement, 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. 30 feet of movement will only get you partially through the middle bedroom area of this house.
I'll dash then.
Okay. That will get you to the door and into the room. You open up the door, seeing Doc dragging this desk over as the rug is starting to lift up, and you see these two swords on the wall sort of, and they look like they're warping and
bonus act. Oh no, never mind. I used my full action to dash, so that'll be it.
Mizya.
So these noises, it just sounds like heavy, dragging something heavy.
It was preceded by the sound of furniture falling over.
Okay, but it doesn't necessarily sound like violence. It's just loud noises
really,
and stuff,
literally the only
okay.
sounds you've heard is a chair falling over and a desk being dragged.
So I see Assyria take off running, but I kind of get up. Not again. And but I'm not. I don't think anything bad is happening necessarily. So I just kind of casually stroll towards the office. I would just go my 30 feet. So.
Okay. Let me check something real quick. All right. Doc, it's your turn.
So I covered one half of the carpet with the desk. I'm going to go walk to the other end of the carpet that seemed to be licking me, and I'm going to go stand on it.
And you see Assyria is just standing inside the room over there by that part of the room. In fact, when Assyria opened the door, it would have opened over that edge of the rug.
My work here is done.
So Doc is okay. So great. So she's right there. The rug is attacking me. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And he's going to look at the decorative swords. Do I remember? Did the Gingwaxim were able to talk, right?
I
can't recall. from when.
I don't think they were. It was like an eyeball monster, and it was like it didn't do
Right.
anything.
They changed into these other forms, these sort of amorphous, aberrant energy forms.
Okay, well, Doc will attempt to grab one of the swords off the wall.
Okay. Make a grapple check.
And
you try to pull it off the wall, and you get a hold of it, and it's just like it's fighting you. You have it, but it's like very strongly resisting as you're getting a hold of it.
Okay.
Tira and Vorn, you are out walking the streets of Baldur's Gate.
Whispering sweet nothings, and
Oh, Tira kind of left me by myself.
No,
this is
in the
earlier in the
past.
day.
Oh,
This is
earlier in
during
the
the
day.
So
day.
this
when
is
we're
sort of
taking-
this is before everything else that happened with you guys. So
Okay.
yeah, it just cuts to you for a brief moment as the two of you are walking, and you're seeing the sights of Baldur's Gate. You see the Blackguard walking around. You're in Blackgate right now, so there's not as many patrolling. You see at one point, in fact, as you walk by this house, this little old lady comes out, and she's holding a rolling pin, and she looks right at you, Tyr, and she says, I told you if I ever see you again, I want my cat back. Don't show your face here until I get my cat back.
I don't know what you're talking about. Vaughn, come on over here.
I just kind of like laugh and let her deal with it, and fold my arms and laugh like.
Oh my god.
And as you keep walking, she's just
like chuckle.
she's just calling, guards, that person stole my cat.
And I just keep walking and ignore her.
And as Tira saddle catches up, I'm like, why'd you take her cat?
I didn't do anything, Vaughn. She's just she's an old lady. She doesn't know what she's talking about. It's confused me with somebody else.
Doc.
I got one of
Confuse you
those
with someone
faces,
else.
and I like bump him.
Right, and her shoulder check is a little hard.
Yeah.
It's like two football players with shoulder pads, kind of.
Yeah. It's like getting hit by a small car.
Right,
And-
there you go.
As you sort of do that, we cut back into the Corvallis office as
Somebody actually getting biffed.
as this sword in your hands, Doc, it evolves into or converts into this sort of aberrant energy form, and because you had hold of it, it just starts grabbing hold. And I rolled a natural 20 on the energy drain attack.
Okay.
Which means you are going to take. You get 4d6. So you are going to take 22 plus 8, 35 points of necrotic damage.
Okay.
As Assyria, you see this thing change in Doc's hands, and then you just see this sort of energy almost like it's leeching up his arms. And Doc, if possible, seems to be getting almost paler.
Mhm.
And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, Doc.
Oh no,
Okay.
not good.
I will do so with advantage.
Okay. Through atone.
Not
Tone.
good.
Yep. 24.
Okay. So you do not take a level of exhaustion. The other sword is going to use its action to it is going to break free of the wall. What's its movement? And it's going to fly across the room. At Assyria.
Yeet.
That is going to be. Ooh, that was almost a crit again. That's a 13 to hit.
13 misses.
So I picture this as this sword breaks free of the wall. It's flying towards you, and it just misses you and goes and turns into this energy form right next to you. At which point, the rug is going for you, Assyria, but that's going to be at disadvantage, which is going to be a 10, as the rug is under your feet. It's kind of flopping, and you can feel it's trying to lift up off the floor, but it just can't quite get the strength up.
Serial will do like the Legolas on a shield.
You just momentarily ride this little wave of it. Assyria, it's your turn. You've got a rug under your feet and the Gingwatsum right next to you.
Okay. She is gonna go for the Watson, and she's gonna Hunter's Mark it as well. First attack, I don't think that hits. That's gonna be a 9.
No, that's, you sort of hit where it was while it was still in sword form as it transforms into this thing, and you just miss hitting it.
Okay. Next one is a 24 to hit.
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
All right. So she'll just coming in swinging. That's going to be 14 points of damage as she just swings with this normal longsword that she's got. She's kind of still getting used to it, the weight, all of that, but she will come swinging at it.
Hold on one second. As you hit it, need to roll a d10. Oh, okay. Roll me. You're attacking with a longsword?
Yes.
Okay, so roll me a d10.
Okay. 9.
9.
Looked like a 6 for a second, but it was a 9.
So what I was rolling for is you in one hit took more than half of its hit points. So I rolled on system shock, and the number that came up was you actually knocked this creature to 0 hit points.
Oh! Just in time for the guitar solo.
So how do you one shot this Gingwatsum? What does that look like?
So I think just Assyria, looking slightly unbalanced, comes swinging down, and for a moment this thing is just hanging in the air, and you actually then see little bits of smoke as it breaks apart and just shatters into a million different pieces, collecting in a dust on the ground.
As that happens, in your mind you hear this voice that just says, thank you.
Oh no.
Oh, it's fine. You released its spirit.
That's it for me.
Mizya.
Wow.
So I just kind of casually stroll around the corner into this office. Oh, always one to make noise, aren't? Oh shit! I think I kind of walk around the corner right as Assyria destroys this thing. So what's left? Is it just the rug that's attacking?
Doc is
now?
fully involved and looking very bad, dealing with one of these things.
Okay.
And the rug is undulating under Assyria's feet.
Okay. I'm just going to just kind of, again, I was kind of in shock at what's happening, but I register that Doc looks to be in trouble. And I'm going to cast, just reach out my hand and flick my my quill And let's see, how many is going to be here? 2, 2, 2, 3. I'm going to cast Magic Missile at 3rd level, which is going to be a total of 5. These darts, these purple and black darts. And let's see here. So that's going to be...
It's the books all over again.
Right.
It is not. They're doing great.
Oops, let me do it this way. 2...
Which one were you targeting?
The whatever's on dock.
Okay. Which you would recognize this thing very quickly because it's one of the thing that took you out back at Candlekeep.
Okay. I was going to do 14 points of damage with that magic missile.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to kind of step back, kind of with the edge of the, maybe take some partial cover at the edge of the door. And
I'm gonna...
So in the story, I assume Mizya goes, "Oh shit," and then just ducks back out of the
Yep.
room. It happens that quickly.
exactly.
Ah! Amazing.
Yeah, you hit this
Like-
thing pretty severely. You didn't knock it to 0 hit points, but it seems to be in a state.
I'm not totally back down there. I think maybe like you just see the side of my face kind of peeking around the door a little bit, and then yeah, that's gonna be my turn.
Okay. Mizya, you hear coming from the room that you came. So you're in this sort of central room that's the length of the house, but it's only about 15 feet wide. It's where you all slept before, or most of you slept before. And you were in sort of this common living room area. You hear from the direction you came from, you hear Vorn's voice. Mizya! Mizya, I need your help. Tira's hurt.
I'm just kind of glancing over my shoulder, back into the room, back over my shoulder. Apparently not the best time.
Who gives a shit?
So you just stay there at the door?
How much of my movement do I have left? Like I moved 30 feet in my last turn, so...
You would have, let's see, 10, 15, 20. You would have about 20 feet, which would get you pretty much back to the door to the living room.
I'm not going to move all the way back, but I think I want to move back into the room while still being able to keep an eye on what's going on in the office. And I'll just call out, yes, in here, we have a bit of a situation with the doctor.
As you say that... Oh my gosh. This... Whatever was about to happen just dramatically changed, because I rolled a crit fail.
Oh no!
So... As you kind of walk part way, and then you sort of call back, and then you turn back, like turning your attention back to where you came from. It's that stopping your movement in the direction you were going and turning that saves you, as out of the shadows between the beds, a short sword goes swing right past you and slams into the frame of one of the beds, catching in the wood, and you see Avani standing there, having just taken a swing at you with the short sword, missing with the sword. He is going to take a lunge at you and try to just straight up jab you with his... Oh no, because he can't do that. Now he's gonna try pulling the sword free, looking desperately at you as he's doing so. And he just sort of wrenches it free, and now he's standing there right next to you with this wild look on his eyes. You see sort of the light from the other room reflecting in his glasses, and he's not holding the sword like a warrior. He's holding it just like he's just desperate. Doc.
Doc is going to shout back to Asaria and Mizya, no, we need to keep one of them alive, just in case. And then he's going to reach out and touch himself. Healing for... healing for 23 points. It's one short of max.
Okay.
We have to figure out if we can question it. They might have seen what happened. Remind me who Ivani is?
Ivani's the one you questioned and kind of gave you the story about seeing Kane run out and he wasn't covered in blood.
The sort of mousy, bookish one.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. Zan, who is the other one that stayed behind, stayed at the warehouse to keep an eye on things back there.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I knew who was who.
Yep. All right. Tira and Vorn, you're continuing your leisurely stroll through.
It's a delight. Tira's thinking about all the lovely things that will happen in she and Vorn's future and hoping that notable secret never gets revealed.
It's like a Disney moment as you're strolling through the streets. All the little rats poke out of a dumpster going, "Kiss the orc."
I'm going too late. Amazing.
Vorn notices Tira's deltoids and like triceps, and it's like, yeah. So, like, what do you do like on leg day?
I rattle off like squats and press and like calf raises and tibs and all that good stuff.
Like,
and, all the supplements I take.
Right, and I talk about how I grab like giant boulders and just like do sumo squats with them.
Oh, yeah, boulders. I read about that in Barbarian's Fitness.
Yeah, it's just a lot of like CrossFit gym bro talk.
Oh yeah, 100%. We are locked in.
It's sneaking glances at like the striations and the thick traps and neck and everything. And is the sun shining, Jake?
Yes, it is the middle of the day at this point.
Okay.
It's getting towards late afternoon.
Evening.
As Tira takes a couple of strides in front of Vorn, he understands why they call her Tira the Sun Maid, as the sun hits her.
Perfect.
That's adorable. God damn it.
Doc, you're still engaged with this one Ging Watsum. It is going to attempt to energy drain you again, but you notice as you use your healing magic to heal yourself, it seems perfectly timed that energy of your healing magic seems to be preventing it from temporarily, because I rolled a 2, so it's not able to energy drain you. The other one is dead, so it can't do anything. The rug is going to attempt to it can really only go after Assyria because Doc's on the side that the desk is covering. Whoops, that is the wrong creature, so we'll ignore that die roll, which was almost a crit. That bounced onto a 20 and then over to an 8. That's a 13, so I think it's still not able to get you. As this rug is just flipping and flopping around, trying to get up and get to you. It's your turn, Assyria.
All right. I would love to shift my hunter's mark. I see Ivani, correct?
No,
No, I don't.
no, because
Okay.
you're in the room.
Okay.
You saw Mizya sort of step in,
Okay.
take a shot, and then kind of turn and walk away from the door. And you might have heard something in the other room, but
Okay.
yeah, you did not see Ivani.
Okay. Then I will move the hunter's mark to the rug that is still trying to get out from underneath, and we'll make 2 attacks.
Okay.
The first one is a 17,
Yep, that'll hit the rug.
and the second one is a dirty 20.
Both of those are hits.
Yay! Stab! Stab! Wow. That is gonna be a 16 for the first hit, and a 14 for the second.
So a total of 30 points.
Yep.
Wow.
Siri's on fire tonight. How do you kill
Yeah.
this rug of smothering?
Hey! Just kind of raises up and is like, I'm so done with going against swords and rugs. Can we please stop battling inanimate objects? And she'll just shred, yeah, kind of stab, and then just shred up the rug basically into little ribbons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally cutting it to ribbons. That's bad.
Absolutely. So, yep, the rug is done. Mizya, you're standing next to Ivani, who's holding a sword, just tried to take a swing at you.
Oh no, I'm rather certain you did not just try to do that. And I just kind of rise up, and I do that kind of Galadriel thing that apparently I can do. And I'm going to cast Cause Fear. She needs to make a Wisdom 14 saving throw.
Wisdom. That is a 19.
You're going to re-roll that?
Oh, damn.
5 tomes. Okay.
Yup.
Let me.
I do that 7 times tonight, yo.
No,
See that? You see that late night math I just did?
Yeah, that was impressive. I applaud you. Gold star.
That is an 8.
Well spent.
As
Well
for a moment, Ivani is looking at you and he's like, you don't frighten. And you can just hear his teeth chattering.
Boo.
Uh,
He's a little
you say boo and he just drops his sword.
And let's see here. Is that this frightened mean that he has to run away from me too?
I know he can't be near you. Disadvantage on ability checks and saving throws while you're in line of sight, and he can't willingly move closer to you. He does not have to run away.
How close was he when
Within 5 feet, because
so
he
if either of us move, it's an attack of opportunity then.
well, he did just drop his sword.
Okay, then I'm going to back the fuck up, back into the doorway, and yell, "Help!"
Ivani is going to as you do that, you hear a sort of and then you hear this cawing sound as Ivani has just changed into a raven, and is going to, let's see, he's going to fly into the front room, which is about all he can do, because you're blocking the other way and the other doors are closed. So there's now bird trapped in the house kind of situation going on over there. Doc.
Yes. Doc would like to. He's gonna try. We're grappled, I think, right?
Yeah, you're technically still grappling him.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to pin it,
Okay.
and I would like to say to it, "We just want to talk to you, and then I will let you go." 13.
13 for the pin. Sorry. Like, which of those actions are you doing? So that's going to be... Oh my gosh. It almost beat you by 1. Instead, it has a -2, so you pin it easily. It is going to you, as you pin it and you say this to it, you just hear in your mind, "Feed me or let me go."
Okay.
For all intents and purposes, you have this thing fully pinned, and there's nothing else left to fight. And there's a bird flying around in the front room. So, unless Mizya, you want to go attack the bird, Doc, you've got the Gingwatsum trapped.
I mean, Mizya's gonna go try and catch the bird in a sack, right?
I'm not going to do anything alone.
I mean, I investigated a whole treasure room by myself, but this is okay.
Well, we've dilly-dallied for so long. I'm feeling quite tired, and I'm not comfortable searching this like lycanthropic bird creature by myself.
Does anyone remember what these things eat? Is it just me they want to eat?
Happiness.
I think from you all, the information you all learned when you sort of investigated all of this was that they'll eat pretty much anything living, anything organic. That could be bugs and rats and mice and cats and dogs, or it could be people that come in proximity.
Okay.
Birds, maybe?
Do I see any cats?
Oh
No.
no!
Are there
You in real life, Dwight.
is there like an ice box anywhere? Like, can I go grab like a chicken breast or something from these werejackals, like, to feed it? Anyway, I'm just gonna leave this room now because I want to try and find some food for this King Watson, but I don't think it's gonna talk to me. So
I mean, you're just getting in your head, alternating, feed me, let me go.
okay.
And let me I don't know why the drum line just started up. As between Assyria then and Mizya, are either of you going to do anything about this Avani that's flying around in the other room?
Sarah, would you care to accompany me?
Sure. And she'll quickly follow after Mizya.
I'm gonna go ahead as we're walking in that direction. I'm gonna cast Mage Armor on myself.
Okay.
So,
And as you both sort of come around the corner, you see you could hear Avani flapping around, kind of cawing in the other room. And then there's sort of this clumsy, as you enter the room, he changes back into his humanoid form and stumbles forward, and he's trying to get to the front door so that he can open it and get out.
Avani, what are you doing?
Get her away from me. Get them away from me.
Get who away from you?
And he's just looking wide-eyed at Mizya. Get them away from me.
Quite frightened of me, I'm afraid. But I will take a few steps back if you would be kind enough to talk to Asaria here, and I'll step back.
I mean, you have a perfectly valid point. Mizya can be quite terrifying.
Oh yes.
What's going on? And Asaria literally will like sheathe her sword, still has like her hand on the handle, and just kind of is stepping forward, kind of like approaching a scared animal or a deer, just very, very keeping her distance, but still just very gentle. She's lowered her tone.
So I think what happens here is at this moment, Avani gets the doorknob, finds his hand on the doorknob, and rips the door open. Turns to run out the door and slams right into Tira. Vorn and Tira, this is sort of in between time, so you haven't gone out for your late night just talk yet. So Tira, you are about to walk into the house when the door opens up and Avani turns, looking back. You see Mizya and Asaria, sword in hand, just sheathing her sword, as Avani comes out and just slams into you. And as he does so, he barely manages to keep his feet about him. As you and Vorn look at him, and he very clearly looks like he was trying to run away from the other two.
I would grab him immediately.
Gentle. Sorry, I will gently grab. You've got the right idea. Just gently.
You grab hold of him. Asaria says gently, and that's where we're going to take our break.
I would imagine Tira has like yoinked him up by his like tunic, and
he's only like
she
5'5".
says gentle. Tira goes like.
All right. Man, that would have gone so much differently if I hadn't rolled a crit fail on his attack against Mizya. Not that I wanted to kill Mizya per se.
No,
never.
But yeah, when I rolled that one, I'm like, okay, this just took a turn. I also really like that the D&D Beyond Encounter Builder ties into your character sheets directly, because I saw what shape you were in, Doc, after that crit.
Yeah, that was bad.
But yeah, we're going to go ahead. We are going into break, which means it's about time to kick off a giveaway for a free copy of the Harptos Calendar of Harptos Adventure Journal from DM's Guild that I created and published. I am going to kick that raffle off right now. Be sure to get on that over the course of this break, and we will see you on the other side.
Let's do it.
If I can do a break right. I couldn't start us right. And we're back.
Woo.
So for whatever reason, Tira, you are now holding on to a slightly struggling Avani who just ran into you looking like he was running from the others. What are you all doing?
And I kind of like am gingerly holding him now because Asaria said be gentle, and I'm just like, what do you want me to do?
Just hold. You're doing great. Just holding him there.
Okay. And I like hold him out a little bit to like Asaria.
Avani, let's try this again. We're your friends. Why? What's going on here?
He's still, for the better part of a minute, is absolutely terrified of Mizya. Does your spell only last a minute?
It is. Yeah, 1 minute. Yep. And I can dispel it too, but yeah.
Something tells me you would leave it up for the full minute.
God, yes.
So it takes him the better part of a minute to calm down before he's finally, and he almost seems like confused at. None of you were supposed to come back to Baldur's Gate. None of this should have happened.
Right.
It's no disappointment at seeing us. There's no reason to try to chop off my feet.
Right.
You try to chop off your feet?
He did. Like, I was just walking back. I heard. Well,
we
I
can
heard
fix him
Vaughn.
from doing that again, eh? And like Tira lines up, like ready to chop off his feet, but then kind of like winks at Assyria.
Make an intimidation check
Yeah, we'll do.
with advantage.
Thank you. Oh Jesus, it's a 10 with
Oh.
advantage.
Uh,
God,
I know that life.
he's a very scared boy, and he maybe already peed his pants. So.
he. His is only an 8, so you still beat him.
Great.
Because I rolled a 6. So.
My worst performance, and they believed it every second.
He's
Vaughn
like, no,
kinda,
no,
like,
no, no! I
snickers.
I was not going to cut off her feet.
Hey?
I took a swing at her and at them, and I missed them.
But, like, you swing at me, you think that's better than.
I think the question is, why were you swinging at Mizya?
I just wanted to.
Were you the one that talked with Vaughn's voice?
Yes.
So you lured me away from their fight.
I didn't want
try to
anybody to see.
run
I
me
didn't want you
through
digging
yourself.
around into things. I just wanted you to go.
Well, now I'm going to dig around in some things.
And I'd like turn Avani around. I'm like, you can do Vaughn's voice. Do it again.
I can do a lot of sounds.
Let's start from the beginning. First off, what?
Doc is going to walk in at this point, and he's holding the Ging Watson energy blob, and he says, "Don't worry, everyone. Corvala left a Ging Watson spy in the room."
I imagine you had, in the interim while this was happening, you went into the kitchen area and you found some food, and you're just sort of holding this like plate of whatever food that this thing is just sort of absorbing patiently. And Avani looks at you and it and says, "Was not a spy. Was supposed to be like a guard dog. But it's no good as that either. None of you should have been here.
Okay.
If you hadn't have come here, they all would have gone back to Amn. I would have been free. All of them.
I'm not following. You're gonna have to break this down like you're talking to a 5-year-old. What?
Well, I'm very clearly not going anywhere. I will
Right.
tell you everything.
But
But please put me down.
go ahead. Mizya, if
I drop him.
Ronnie does try to take off, do the thing.
And I will just I just kind of like hold the quill up, and it just kind of just sparks with a little bit with the purple
Cool.
sparks. Yes, I'm ready to
Perfect.
do the thing.
Avani basically looks like Prince Humperdinck when he's been intimidated, just
Yes.
sits down in a chair.
Yes.
So start from the beginning and explain it like we're 5-year-olds, please. Thank you.
You're smarter than 5-year-olds. I don't need to treat you like children, but I will tell you everything. Cain Morgan was here. And he, as I said, he went to go talk to Corvola. They were back there for a little while, and I heard them talking, and I was going to simply bring them the tea. But I stopped and listened. And I heard Cain telling Kovala that he was working for somebody called the Sisters of Selûne. And all he needed from her was a little bit of her blood. I heard something about... It had to do with a plan to advance Lycankind. They want to... The Sisters of Selûne, they want the blood of all of the Lycans. They are going to do a ritual to somehow enhance some kind of special lycanthropes so that they will have the ability of like a, I don't know if he's a super lycan or what it would be. But at that point I had had enough. And I deliberately opened the door and dropped the tray of tea, which I knew would agitate the Gingwatsum. What I didn't know was that Corvala was already letting Cain take her blood. The sudden attack of the Gingwatsum caused her to be pulled away from Cain, and there was so much blood. There was so much blood.
So you just decided to tell everyone that he tried to kill her?
The crime scene was there, but I didn't want it to look like he was... I didn't want it to look like it was a deliberate murder. Like this. I wasn't always like this, you know. And, he kind of looks sad and wistful, and he says, Before Nadalia, I had a family. I had a wife and I had children. Nadalia turned me, like so many of the others, had us turned into Lycans in her service. It was only later that I found out that Nadalia was the one who killed my family. That wouldn't be like this if it wasn't for her. I don't know what I thought would happen, but I knew that Nadalia would have the power to take care of Corvola, so what was important was that Cain could get away, that he could help the sisters, Selûne, whoever they are. I cannot have vengeance for my family. but maybe I can vicariously, for whatever they are trying to do is going to happen, and it's going to work. The Lycans will no longer have to hide in the shadows. They will become a powerful force in this world. We will become a powerful force in this world.
Tira is just really tense through this whole conversation. She's just standing there kind of with her arms crossed, and you see her kind of like tense up a couple different times throughout this story.
Doc is going to walk forward, and he's going to lean in to Avani, and he's going to whisper something into Avani's ear, and put something in his hand and close his fingers around it. And he's going to step away.
Let me see. As you do that, he looks at you and he sees something. It's almost like he's looking into your eyes, like through your eyes and deeper into you. And there seems to be a recognition of something. And he holds on to what you gave him, and he just kind of, for a moment, just shakes his head and looks at the rest of you. Now what? Will you
I look
kill me?
angrily at Assyria.
You're going to kill me?
No. I don't think yet.
Not that I don't want to, but my friends here look down on that type of action.
He looks at you, and he kind of looks down at the hand that Doc had touched momentarily. And in a voice, because of your close proximity, you all can hear him, but he looks right at you, Mizya. And he says, I sincerely doubt you could kill me even if you tried.
Oh. Well. Lucky for you, you won't have to find out today.
Tira, what do you think? Since family was involved in this, however loosely.
I give Avani a really dirty look, and I just say, cowards die many times before their deaths. You still have plenty to go yet.
So I guess the better question is to ask what you're going to do next, Avani.
If you're going to let me go, then I will go.
Go where?
Does it even matter?
It does.
I'm still trapped. Even if you don't kill me, or try to kill me, you don't hold me as a prisoner. If you let me fly out that window now, I'm still trapped as a lichen. Nothing can change that.
No, but you can choose to decide whether this is going to be a curse or a blessing.
A blessing. The only blessing that will come from this is if the Sisters of Selûne can be successful in whatever it is they endeavor to do. If that is the case and the Lycans can rise up and become a dominant force in this world,
You are letting
then,
others define you. That's your problem.
and what would
And
you
that-
know of this?
I look at Assyria and I shake my head.
Look down quickly.
I'm a drow on the surface, so I'm somewhat familiar with others defining me.
Now I'm a half elf. I don't really belong anywhere now, do I?
You have the stink of a lichen about you, too. But you don't smell like full lichen. You smell like a puppy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Avani, I think you should walk out that door before one of us changes our mind. I'd say that's about 15 seconds. So get your parting shots if you want. Say
and
whatever you're going to say.
Timer started about 5 seconds ago.
10.
He's takes a move towards the door, and I have to retcon something slightly. It doesn't really alter a whole lot, but at some point I grabbed the wrong stat block. Avani is not a were-raven. He is a jackal-were.
Okay.
So he didn't
makes
change
more
into a
sense.
bird and flap around. He had changed into a full jackal and was running around, unable to get out.
Got it.
But it doesn't change much of anything else of what he did or has said. But when he quickly, when you say this to him, he gets it. He is immediately up. He moves to the door, and he takes one look around at all of you. Looks like he's about to say something. And he looks up at you, Doc, and you see him sort of take and put whatever it was you gave him into this pouch at his side. Takes a step out the door, and within 3 steps, he has changed into a jackal-were and disappears through the streets, leaving you all there at the house.
Well, is there anything else anybody wants to do? Does anybody need to go to the washroom before we go to the port?
Vaughn and I were having a very nice walk. We'd like to finish it. We'll meet you all at the port in, I don't know, late evening, early morning.
All right.
when
I
we
like
get there.
walking. I'll come too.
No, you should not.
Doc, no. First, we should probably tend to your wounds.
My wounds are fine.
Wait, why won't you let the doctor go?
Because it's very important that Vaughn and I go alone. And I kind of give
Yes.
Mizya a look, and
Saria will literally put her hand to her mouth and go, "It's a date. Let them go."
Oh.
Yes, Doc is going to flip open. He's going to flip open his calendar of Harptos. Yes, I know it's a date. Obviously, it's a
No.
date.
Vaughn
He brought
immediately.
it because you only need
Doctor.
a light jacket.
Doc, we can explain to you what we mean by, again, it's one of those instances. I think Mizya was talking about the word has a different meaning to it.
Vaughn,
We can
let's
explain
shall.
that.
Yeah, Vaughn kind of walks out the room. Walks out. Yeah.
And Mizya and I guess Saria will spend that time explaining to Doc what a date is.
That's adorable.
FYI, as you all essentially have the evening to rest, I will fill you in on what kind of information you're able to glean from this Gingwatsum while you're kind of feeding it and stuff. Well, I'll just tell you, essentially you learn that it literally was created to be a watchdog with the other one. It can change from a decorative sword to a bat into its Gingwatsum form.
Ooh.
It generally would change into a bat in order to occasionally go out and feed. But why would it do that? Because the Amber Dunes kept it fed all the time, but feedings had gotten sparse in the last 10 days. And that's literally all its existence is it was created to guard that room.
Got it.
So we've already seen pretty much everything that happens leading up to Tira leaving Vorn to stand alone as Tira goes back to rest at the house. I will say this before we are going to cut to Vorn, but it is going to be the 26th of Myrtle, which means there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full days until the next full moon. Vorn, Tira has placed something into your hand and has walked away, leaving you to stare at the constellation that Ysurla had shown you so long ago, as you are holding this kind of cold glass vial in your hand. And you hear a voice. After a few moments of quiet contemplation, you hear a voice at your shoulder. I mean, literally your shoulder, saying, It's been a while since I could take a moment to appreciate the stars. They really are quite lovely. And that is Ditto, the mimic.
Oh, Ditto the mimic.
Ah, Ditto. Yeah, they are quite lovely, aren't they? As Vorn gazes up, and I forgot you were here.
Well, my nature is to blend in and not be seen or heard or identified usually, but I couldn't pass up a moment to recognize the beauty of the heavens.
Yeah, quite nice. Can Vorn find the constellation?
Um,
Or is it forever obscured from his vision?
Couldn't Vorn see stars? I thought he said he couldn't see stars.
Yeah, I couldn't last time I checked. And well,
I want you to roll me a D100.
ooh. Let's see. I'm gonna do 2 D10s. Does that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a D100.
Okay.
Well, there is a D100 in the dice roller.
Okay.
It's the one that looks like 2 D10s next to each other.
Ah, I see it. Got you.
That is a
There you go.
D100, so that'll work.
Oopsie, that's everything. I didn't mean to do that. Let me do it again. I threw like 4 dice out there.
D all.
D all. Yeah. Hold on. There we go. And boom. 36.
So there was a 20% chance that you would see this constellation.
Mm-hmm.
The way that works is I rolled my number, and if you're within 10 of either side of it, then you're able to see it. I rolled a 45.
Oh.
You are 9 away from it. What do you do when you're about to give up and you spot it dimly closer to the horizon, which was why you, for this time of year, why you didn't spot it, but you see this constellation that Ysurla had shown you.
As the empty sky kind of the stars come into my eyesight, I look at them, I feel comforted, and I say to Ditto, at least some things remain constant. So, and I open up my hand and I look at the vial, and my heart is filled with a lot of like heavy emotions and remembrance. There's flashes of Ysurla in the forest of us making the campfire, sharing fish. This kind of means that she's still out there.
And you would know, based on looking at this, which the label says Usurla, the Northern Bear Clan, Southwood, the Blackmoor, I think, or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But you would recognize that general region. And you know that means that if this is an indication of where she was or is or whatever, that it's nearly 1,000 miles from where you are now.
And Vorn knows that is a distance of his feelings and emotions to her as well, that 1,000-mile distance. He stands up and he goes, well, didn't quite turn out like I thought it would, huh? Ditto.
In my experience, things rarely do.
But we push on, don't we?
Indeed.
And we fight on, don't we?
And, it would appear, we love on.
Indeed. And Vorn turns his back from the overlook of the sole constellation he sees in the sky, the dark sky, and puts the vial in a patch, like a little pouch that he has along his belt buckle, and indeed we do. And walks towards the warehouse.
All right. Well, does anybody have anything they want to do in the night, or do you want to just wake up in the morning and take a long rest?
I'm sitting in the entryway in a nice comfy chair as Tira comes back first, and then sometime later Vorn comes back, and I just sit there and nod judgingly at both of them as they walk through the door, and that's it.
Yeah. Vorn tries to find Vorn sees Mizya and says, Tyr made it back, right?
Yes.
You asshole.
Good. Hey, where's Doc at?
I imagine I turned behind me and Doc is standing in the corner, and I'm in the dark, just standing there.
Looming in the darkness. Vorn's going to walk up to Doc.
You're muted, Gary.
I press the button. Hello, Vorn.
Hey, Doc. Hey, you mind holding on to something for me?
Of course, I'd be happy to hold on to something for you. What is it?
Well, beyond that, I kind of want you to do your Doc thing.
I'm gonna need more precise instructions than that.
Yeah, I should have known. Silly me. And he retrieves the tube of blood, and he kind of opens his palm with it.
Doc will take it from Vorn's hand, and he will examine it. I assume it's just a stopper full of blood.
Has a wax seal over it and has the label on it with the name and location, identification, handwritten.
Well, as far as I can tell, it seems to be a wax stopper tube of blood. What do you need me to do with it?
This is Usurla's blood. Someone who was very dear and important to me a long time ago. She was a lichen. She can transform into bears.
It actually says on the label, it does say werebear in parentheses.
Bear. Yeah. He still emphasizes it. Just
Yes, and you just want me to protect this for you. I can.
for now. Maybe it will become more important later.
Doc is quiet for a long time, and he says, patting Vorn on the shoulder, he says, "Thank you for trusting me with this. It seems like it's very important to you."
To say the least. And Vorn turns around and kind of walks away.
All right. Well, night happens. You sleep. Those of you that sleep, all of you get rest. The new day dawns, and you know you have a ship to catch. Doc, what do you do with the Gingwatsum?
So the Gingwatsum, you said that you're going to tell us the information that the Gingwatsum provides.
I did tell you the information that it provides.
Okay, yeah, more or less corroborating what Abani said. Fine. Then, I just leave it on the wall. I've got no reason to take it with me. It can sort of fly around. I mean, I'll pat it on the head and say, "Good luck."
You get no response. It turns back into a sword and clings to the wall.
And Doc is going to look around and look as self-satisfied as one who has an expressionless face can.
Amazing.
All right.
Tira would come down looking like she didn't sleep very well, but she would just be ready to go, has her stuff.
Vorn sees Tira comes down and does that, like, I think you do when you're trying not to look at people, but it's obvious you're trying not to look at people.
Yeah.
And slides down his goggles.
I'm trying real hard not to look at Vorn. I'm just kind of avoiding him.
I am studying the both of you like one of my favorite books.
Oh, God.
Just eyeing you both suspiciously, closely watching every move, every glance that you try to hide.
Saria will take her goddamn time getting up and making her way downstairs. She is not a morning person, so lounging around.
Phenomenal.
Good morning, Asaria.
It is morning. That's right.
It's quite an interesting morning. I can't tell if our friends here had relations or a fight.
I think that's their business, Mizya. Like, Saria looks very like,
They clearly have relations. We've known each other for like a month.
Doc, no, not that kind of relations. Oh, geez.
What kind of relations do you mean, Asaria?
We should get to the boat
Oh,
Birds
now
and
we want to
bees.
get to the boat.
immediately.
No, but I'm still confused about what's happening. What relations did you mean, Asaria?
Tira would shake her head and leave the house.
Sarah's gonna
Just
quickly
wait out
just
front.
shove food into her mouth, just not even like on one.
I will walk up to Doc and just kind of hook my arm into his elbow, reaching way up to and just kind of guide him towards the door. Come, Doctor, I will explain everything. And I will, in very straightforward details, explain what likely...
Birds and the bees.
Oh, wait. No, I mean, I understand the process. Do you mean Tira and Born?
Oh God.
It's backs and buys, biceps.
Yes, they,
Quit.
Backs and buys. Amazing.
yes, well, they left together. They came back separately, so I think fight. But one never knows. Maybe things are just awkward now, which also tends to happen. I've seen it many times over my many years.
You just see a trail of dust as Asteria has just dashed as far away.
I mean, I don't know much about half-orc society, but it's entirely possible maybe it was both.
Heroes
Entirely
walking
true.
distance ahead. She does not hear any of this.
This is like the closest Mizya's gotten to, palace intrigue in a long time. And there's an actual pep in their step this morning as we head towards the docks.
So there's a nice little montage of your banter as you are riding your horses in your cart, and all of you are heading through the streets of Baldur's Gate.
Vorn kind of like talks to his shoulder. He's like, I don't seem awkward, do I?
Not any more than usual.
All right, good.
Awesome.
I mean, I should have knew better. Why did I dash through the forest and...
No.
Oh, jeez, okay.
No.
It's okay. It's okay. There's a lot going on, and life goes on, right? Right?
Right. You're...
And
Oh, go ahead.
and what she gave me means a lot. I can't quite piece it all together as to how it fits and why she would have it. And Vorn is like whispering in the way that a kid whispers. Like
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, that's my demeanor as I'm going behind everyone else.
Eventually, you make your way to the bay, which is completely surrounded by docks. But fortunately, there's a yellow exclamation point on your map that shows you exactly the NPC you need to talk to.
Pillar of light.
You do have the information that that Manistrad gave you, which was to find a harbor master and ask for the dreadnought. At which point a runner heads into a nearby watering hole, and comes back a few moments later with a very disgruntled looking dwarf with her, who says, I was beginning to wonder if you were ever going to show up.
Sorry, Tira and Vorn needed time for relations.
Wow.
I look really uncomfortably over at Vorn, and I turn very, very red. You've never seen this shade.
It doesn't usually take 4 days, I understand, but here we are.
We have several days, which we will be at sea, riding up the coast. And what happens below decks stays below decks, is what I'm told. So, let us make our way out there. And she indicates a way out in the harbor, there's tall masts and sails of ships that are moored all over the place, many pulled up to the docks. It's very bustling with things being loaded and unloaded and all this kind of stuff. And but you see further out away from the docks is a massive ship, warship, but it has no masts, it has no sails, and it is clad entirely in metal. And more directly next to it is a large sailing ship. You are all loaded up onto a skiff, another skiff. You're actually, I guess you're asked if you want to bring your horses and your cart with you. In which case they would be loaded onto another skiff
I mean,
to
I
be
could just
transported.
stay behind with the horses and the cart, couldn't I?
No, we need you. What are you
But
talking about?
I mean,
Jake, before we go, Doc is going to visit a moneylender, and he is going to change 30 pieces of gold for 300 pieces of
silver.
Yeah.
Timed out.
Yeah, you broke up for a second.
Yeah, you
Yep,
froze for a
silver.
second there, but yeah.
Well, you know, the weather, Tira. And Asteria will give a very pointed look.
Malastrad, very quickly, how long is the journey that we are about to take? How long will we be at sea then, eh?
Well, according
I'm
to
just
the captain, it's really dependent on if the winds favor us. It's looking that the spring winds could be in our favor. He's saying it could be anywhere from 3 to 5 days.
Oh, that sounds fine. Thank you.
Doc is going to look at the calendar. What time is it now? It's early morning.
Yeah, it's early morning on the 26th of Myrtle.
Doc is going to look at the calendar, and he said 3 to 5 days.
That's correct.
Yeah. That's all. I'm just a bit hesitant. I'm a ranger, not so much a sailor, so I'm a little bit nervous about being on the sea and certain storms coming into place. You know, you read a lot about like hurricanes and maelstorms happening out there. So I'm just a wee bit nervous. It's the rest of the group is fantastic, but I'm just a little bit nervous about that.
Well, I can assure you this region of the Sword Coast is not prone to hurricanes. And the captain assures me the weather is supposed to be pretty decent springtime weather for the next few days. So as long as the wind holds, we should be good. I understand your hesitation. I spent...
Just meet you there with the cart.
I go over to Asteria and I kind of like, if you give us a moment, and I pull Asteria over off to the side pretty more roughly than she intends. And I would be like, Asteria, I understand your hesitation. We need you.
Well, I was just saying that I could go with the carts and perhaps go by land if it's possible.
You'll take too long. We'll be waiting on you, and Malastrada isn't going to wait very much longer.
I'd rather have that happen versus me moon out on the ship, so to speak.
If
That's
it's
okay.
day-
We'll train you to the.
Vaughn,
sail.
why did you come over here?
Vaughn,
She's like
get
quickly
away.
pulls Tira away again. This is girl talk.
Vaughn says that as he's walking past them, and he's going to.
Just in the background.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And the Vorn is going to ask, "How can I be useful on the vessel?" And as he, walks past them, like,
That's all. I'm just a wee bit nervous about that part, you know?
It's
Rather
not going
not-
to take us that long. The spring winds are in our favor. We'll be off in 3 days, and then you can go off and eat whatever the hell you want to eat.
It's not like I want to eat anything.
I know.
I just
It'll be fine. Asteria.
seems like there's been a lot of problems with the whole, moon thing. So, and especially since it's getting targeted, I would hate for anybody else besides this group to find out. Although it seems like everybody else is spying on us. Do you think we should look into something that perhaps...
Hey. Asteria, hold on. If we get so we're pushing the 5 days,
I'll tell you what. You
I'll
and
jump
me-
overboard.
No, we'll take a skiff. We'll take a safety boat, and we'll row to shore. Send you off into the woods to do whatever the hell, and then you can meet me in the morning, and we'll go back to the ship. None the wiser.
Sure, because everything we've planned so far has gone perfectly according to plan.
Listen, that don't mean we couldn't stop making plans. We have to make them once in a while. They work. Hey. Hey, the longer we wait, the harder it'll be, you know?
I know, stop it. You're
Yeah,
not
let's go.
helping.
Let's go.
And Azaria will go.
Manistrad is looking very impatient at this point.
Yeah.
Manistrad, tell the captain, ask if he needs a deckhand or
Listen.
how I can be helpful.
I have a feeling when we get there, the best thing you can do is just stay out of the way. But you can talk to the captain yourself once we're on board.
I will stay below deck.
Whatever, as long as you're on the ship and we're moving forward.
Yeah.
And you head off across the waters, and it takes a good half hour, 45 minutes for these skiffs to navigate over. And you get closer and closer to this massive metal ship, and it just seems to be getting bigger and bigger, this massive warship, and it's absolutely covered in metal plates. There's no sign of any sails or masts of any kind. And you notice as you get even closer that there's crew moving around on board. And as you get closer, something seems a little different about this crew, and you can't quite place it. But you come around the other side, and there's this sailing ship that's moored right next to it. You pull up next to that, and the sailing ship has a crane that comes down and loads up your wagon, and your horses are brought on board and brought down into an area where there are more. There's some pack mules and a couple other things stowed away. But the crew, as you are brought up onto the ship, the crew that is tending to everything is entirely comprised of automatons. They are clockwork individuals. With the exception of, you do see a dwarven man, who seems to be kind of managing where everything goes and accounting for everything. Up on one of the decks, there's a half-orc who is, she's looking down, kind of keeping an eye on everything. And a halfling woman comes walking up to Manistrad and says, "Ah, there you are, Copperlocks. Captain Stark was beginning to wonder if this was ever going to be an actual thing that was going to happen." Right. Like I said, I had to wait on this lot. They finally showed up, and we should be able to be underway shortly. And that's when you hear the voice from up on, from up where the captain's quarters are. The door is open, and you hear a voice say, "I've told you, Manistrad. I'll tell you when we get underway. Now, who do we have on board the Sinful Dragon?" And Captain Virgil Stark Dervish steps forward. He is 6'2", long, sandy blonde hair. He is currently wearing a leather vest with a blousy white shirt that is hanging loose. It's open way too many buttons down to see his tanned chest all the way down. He has tattooed forearms. And he wears a scimitar at his side. And he carries himself with a surety as he steps forward and looks at all of you and says, "So, you're the ones that are escorting our Manistrad Copperlocks on another prospecting adventure. Captain Stark Dervish, it's a pleasure to have you aboard." And he gives a whistle, and the half-orc and the halfling begin barking orders, and these clockwork sailors begin moving around and unmooring the ship from the big dreadnought. And within no time at all, it seems, suddenly sails are being unfurled, and the ship is being moved away, and the wind catches the sails as the ship begins to sail away from the harbor. And for the next 3 to 5 days, you will be at sea riding up the coast. And that is where we are going to end the session.
Hang on. Mizya's got a thing.
Nope.
Oh, Dwight has
Or was
a thing.
it
Or
Dwight?
Gary, sorry.
No, Gary
I
has
can't
a
read.
thing.
Mizya,
I'm
then
Is
sorry.
that a doc
I was
thing?
so confused. I'm like, wait, what?
My back is hurting. I'm sorry.
Is that a doc thing or is that a Gary thing?
I'm sorry.
It's a Gary thing.
Okay.
Oh, can I go?
Yes.
Okay, 2 things. One, tomorrow is the last arc, the last episode of Arc 1 of Dreadful Tales. You can see me and Dwight playing our last session together tomorrow. Really excited. It's over on twitch.tv/Talon and Claw. We've got a big announcement about the show tomorrow, so I do hope you'll consider staying tuned. And MTD Claw in the chat. Our friends at Talon and Claw have their Kickstarter, which is only 2 days left. I'm going to pop the link. There's lots of cool stuff. I hope you'll consider checking it out.
All right. We are, that's it. We will be back on Thursday with the Dawnbringers at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I will be over on Nerdarchy live at 8 p.m. on Friday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, for Untraditionally Arcane. Be sure to tune in on Sundays. Wait, is the season still going?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got 4 more episodes, 4 more weeks. So
Sunday at 3 p.m. here, or 3:30. I don't even know when shows are on my channel. What's going on Sunday?
don't worry, I do. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time is Neophat is running Star Wars Shadowport Adventures, and we're wrapping up the end of season 2 over the next 4 weeks. So,
all right. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get out of here. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. We appreciate you. Thank you for all of the support and the domain tomes. If you are watching, lurking silently in the background, know that we appreciate you all the same. And a huge thank you, as always, to these amazing players, Gary, Carrie, Jordan, Dwight, and Ricky, without whom it'd just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. We're going to send a raid over to our good friend, CB, the Critical Bard, who looks to be playing some Fortnite. So stick around for that raid as we kick that off in a moment, as we end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.